Hi everyone, I hope you are all well. I haven't quite finished the book that I've been reading for this past week. As you can see, I'm pretty good, large chunk of the way through, and I actually started this yesterday. So I'm quite chuffed that I got through nearly 300 pages yesterday of The Hate You Give. So I'm not quite finished with it, so I'll probably be back with you for a review of this in the next few days. But I wanted to do a video today because of something that has hit me like a ton of bricks, and it's a TV show I wanted to talk about, and in general I just wanted to talk about what it's like to be a fangirl. And I've been going through all of this fangirl kind of stuff because of this TV show, and I am three weeks into this, and I've nearly finished 5 seasons of this program. It's an American program, and there's like 24 episodes a series, and I'm 3 weeks into it and nearly finished 5 seasons. So I think that kind of tells you what it's been. I've been like obsessing over it, and the TV show is Chicago Fire. So I want to talk about this show, what I've been going through these past few weeks, and in general the step-by-step kind of guide, as it were, to what it's like to be a fangirl. So I'll start off with the program. As I said, it's Chicago Fire. Now what happened was basically I was bored at home, and I've got Sky, and it's got Sky box sets, and they'd recently updated their list, and right at the top of the recently added was Chicago Med, which is one of the spin-off shows, because Chicago Fire basically was the one that started it, and then they kept on branching off with various characters that they were coming encounter with from the police force and from the hospitals that they took their various patients to. And so because of that, they made a spin-off series called Chicago PD and a second spin-off series called Chicago Med. Chicago Med is just about to start, I think, in the next month, its 5th series. Chicago PD, I think, is in its 6th series, and earlier this year, Chicago Fire finished its 7th series. So as you can see, they're quite close, but there is quite a gap. But anyway, so I've watched Chicago Med. I watched all 4 series, and one of the unfortunate things about me, especially when it comes to fangirling and stuff like that, I'm not a quitter. So if you remember my video about the TV series Rain, you will remember how I went through kind of hell watching it, because my head was screaming, this is so crap, but I still watched it, and I kind of liked it. It was so bad it was kind of good. But I'm not a quitter, so even though I started Chicago Med and I thought the characters were okay and it was okay written, it just, yeah, I was all right about it, but whatever. But there are various episodes that are the characters, they cross over. So storylines that are in one of the Chicago programs, Chicago-based programs, crosses over with another. And so there was a load of times where Chicago PD characters came in, occasional Chicago Justice, which was like from the lawyer's point of view, which I think that only ran for a very short amount of time. That one kind of fell to the waistline as far as I'm aware. And Chicago Fire. And every time the Chicago Fire lot came in, I was like, oh, buzzed, because I really liked them as characters. I thought they were great. And of course, because I was seeing what was in a way the second half of the storyline, because the first half was done in their show, I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand these characters or anything, and it was, but I was really intrigued by them. So after a couple of weeks, I'd finished all 4 series of Chicago Med. As I said, it's okay, but it's not too... I mean, I could sit playing on my phone and still know what is going on in an episode. Nothing like I found really shocking. I did like Oliver Platt as Dr. Charles. I think he's fab. But yeah, so that's what happened. And then I went back to Sky box sets after the 4th series had ended and found that they'd recently became available Chicago Fire. And I was like, because I really debated, because I was thinking, oh my God, these are the same writers. So even though I really love these characters, am I really going to like this program? I don't know, but I'll give it a go. And they had 6 series available, even though there has been 7, as I said, because the 7th series aired earlier this year. The DVD for Series 7 becomes available here at the end of September, and I think that's when Series 7 will become available on Sky for box sets. So I have to wait a month, and it's going to drive me mad. But anyway, so I put on the pilot. And as soon as the ending sequence ended, I knew I was hooked. So here's stage 1 of fangirling. Stage 1 is the introduction. Now this can be like my experience where I was led to it because it was available and I had gone through the Chicago Med thing and I thought, you know what, give it a go. Just give it a go and just see what happens. It can be the introduction as well. It could be a recommendation, something like that. Just the initial introduction. And I usually judge a whole first episode as, is this going to be my thing or not? And I sat there, and when the opening sequence finished, it was about, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 minutes long. I was like, hell yes, I am in this for the long run. It had such great pace, it was so well edited, it was really quite intense, although now I've learned that that is nothing, that opening sequence of the pilot, compared to all the other intense stuff that you can meet along the way. I love the characters, I knew pretty much all of them by name in those first 3 minutes. It was crazy, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's how you open a TV series. And I was beaming. I was like, I am in this. I am so ready for this. And I loved it. Now, as I said, there have been, especially with this series, you have the crossover episode. So I was now watching the initial episode of a storyline, which then got concluded in an episode of Chicago Med or Chicago PD. And of course, because I had it on Sky box sets, I didn't have access to, it didn't do the thing where it would actually give you the end of the storyline from that other Chicago related TV series. So I just kind of, so like you'd see at the end of one episode, you know, there is an episode where there's this big kind of explosion that happens, and it ends with the character Shay being hurt and she collapsing, and then the beginning of the next episode she's back to work, she's perfectly fine, because that had been concluded in Chicago PD. And I was like, but I don't know what episode it was, I don't know. So sometimes it is a bit jarring just watching the one end of it, but I have done my research and I found that the DVD box sets of Chicago Fire includes the concluding the concluding episodes, sorry to say, from both Chicago PD and Chicago Med. So you can, if you watch the DVDs, watch the entire storyline through. There was one that was a mid-series cliffhanger with Herman, and I was literally like nearly having a panic attack. I was like, oh my God, this can't be happening, this can't be happening. And then I realised, hang on, didn't I see the end of this storyline? Because I'm pretty sure he came into Chicago Med like maybe series 2 or something, but this, you know, and then it triggered the memory. So yeah, so it was a bit, it is a bit, should I say, because I'm still watching, a bit of a crazy way of looking at things. But again, it was the next episode, he turns up, he's perfectly fine. So I was just happy with that. But yeah, so if you are going to watch these Chicago related programs, you just need to be aware of the crossovers, but the DVDs do include the crossover episodes. So as I said, stage 1 is the introduction. Stage 2 is binging. When I say binging, I don't mean food, I mean binging the TV series. Now, fangirling, you get used to sitting still for a very long time. And when I say sitting still, I mean getting through nearly a full series of TV show in one sitting. I've done sitting for 11, 12, 13 hours watching a TV series from beginning to end. I've done it multiple times, and it's something that you get used to. I think because I love to read, it helps, because I'm used to sitting, for a long period of time, focusing intensely on something. I also do writing. I love to do sewing and jigsaws and, Sudokus, all this kind of stuff where it's intense focus for long periods of time, just sat down. So fangirling fits me like a glove, really does. It does have downsides though, obviously, binging, because it does, or at least for me, can impact your sleep pattern. And then I'm kind of going into the next stage as well, but I will focus it on separately. Impacts your emotional state. So when I say that it affects your sleep pattern, you may find that you tend to drink more coffee. This is actually coffee because I felt really tired this morning. I woke up at like 4 o'clock this morning and I couldn't sleep. Affects your sleep pattern. Because the thing is that you have this. It tends to be that when I binge, and when I mean full binge, like 12 odd hours, it's a weekend. Literally, I did this kind of yesterday, but I didn't do a full binge day of watching Chicago Fire. I was reading. Like I said, I was reading all that. I literally got home Friday evening for after work, locked my door, and I have not unlocked my door until I had to go out this morning to do some food shopping. So I've gone, more than, probably about 36 hours or something, or 30 hours, without leaving my house. So yeah, because, it's just what I do. So when I do my binges, I tend to do a full day. I will wake up early on a Saturday morning and I will binge watch through. I might have some breaks, sort of like the mid-series breaks, as it were. Use that to do some other tasks, like do a bit of washing up, or just to get circulation obviously back in your legs and all that lot, and have a little bit of a break. But you do find yourself drinking a lot of coffee, so I'm just gonna have a sip now because I actually really need it. Nice. I don't, just like I actually very rarely drink coffee. I've recently started drinking it again because I used to really drink a lot of coffee, and then I cut it out of my life for, I don't know, maybe between like 7 and 10 years, I'd say. And then more recently I've gone to like 1 cup a day, so it is like, it's 20 past 11 in the morning. I've gotten home from doing my food shopping because I was out of milk. So I have instantly made myself a cup of coffee because I feel like I really need it. My eyes are really quite tired and stingy. But the knock-on effect of doing the binge watch, of getting up mega early one day, means obviously you go to bed really quite tired, or because of what you've been watching, you might still be a bit hyped and a bit buzzed and everything. So you go to bed sort of tossing and turning about, and then you eventually get to sleep, or it might be quite later than you usually do. And for me, because I always wake up about 5ish, if I've done like a binge thing or whatever, I will then wake up early the next day. So for me, yesterday, I woke up about 5:15, and I was binge reading and then spent the evening binge watching Chicago Fire. And something happened which absolutely devastated me. I was hysterically crying, and I went to bed probably about 10:30. I don't know how long I lay awake for, because I was awake for quite a while, and then I don't know, maybe half hour, 45 minutes. So probably at 11, 11:15 maybe, I got to bed last night. So, properly fell asleep. And then I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning. So I need this right now. So with Chicago Fire, I haven't actually explained what it follows. So as I said, Chicago PD follows police, Chicago Med follows hospital, and Chicago Fire follows firefighters at Firehouse 51 in Chicago. There is the rescue squad, whose lieutenant is Kelly Severide, who I love. And then you have the truck, which is whose lieutenant is Matt Casey. And then they had their own ambulance, which for a while was Shay and Gabby, and currently it's where I'm at near the end of series 5 is Brett and Gabby. So, and it follows, you know, their various relationships, things they get up to, you know, all of the, you know, various call outs that they go to, the cases that they see, yada yada yada. So as I said, by the end of the opening sequence, I was in love. I was like, oh hell yes, this is my thing. You kind of instantly know. I think it's like with anything that you know, you say you love, whether it be movie, theatre, TV show, hobby, music, whatever. You just know like that this is your thing, and Chicago Fire is my thing, or we should say one of my things, because there are many TV shows on that I do. And Kelly Severide is my baby, oh my god, I love him. I love him. I'm not like, you know, it's got to my head that this fictional character is actually real or anything like that, and I'm professing my love for him, not in the slightest. It's just that he is so well written, and I really hate the fact that the writers, especially series 5, are just like not letting him be happy, not in the slightest. And the way that series 5 episode 20 ended, which is the episode I saw last night right before I went to bed, was really hard. Well, no, I finished it about 9ish last night, and then I kept on thinking about it, and so it kind of felt like it was the last episode right before I went to bed, because I was still thinking about it, even though I went to bed, you know, an hour or so after I finished it. But I just absolutely adore his character arc, the complexities that he has, his relationship with Shay. Oh, I adored that. Shay is his best friend, and they live together at you know, in their first series and everything. And the way the two interacted, how they were always there for each other and everything, it was wonderful. And the writers just devastated me with their ending for Shay. It was just no. I was really upset by that. But I cry all the time throughout watching Chicago Fire, which leads me on to step 3. The step 3 is the crying and squealing and clapping stage. So this is the point where you've fallen down the rabbit hole. You don't just see this as a TV show necessarily. You can get, you know, you have the emotional connection to characters, and you react to things. So, and I've had multiple times with this TV series that if somebody comes along who tries to screw with Firehouse 51, I'm yelling at them at my TV. I have yelled, I have clapped like hysterically when stuff has happened. I have been like, you know, squealing like crazy. I have gasped. I have screamed. I have just, I have hysterically cried. Like, oh my god, Severide in 520 killed me. And I am like, this, the thing about being a fangirl also is that it's really hard when you hit this stage. Really hard. Because it kind of feels like, I know this is going to sound insane possibly, it kind of feels like you've reached the point where it's like a drug, that you need it. Like, I have spent days where I have counted down the hours at work until like 3:30 is hit, and then I can run out the office, get home as fast as I possibly can, and then watch more episodes. And I've done this thing where I'm like, oh, I really could squeeze in another episode, but if I do that, that means I'm going to go to bed at this time, which means I might wake up a bit late, which might make me late for work, which means I won't be able to leave till this time, which will impact my viewing time by this much. I literally had those thoughts. It's like a drug. Like, you need it, or at least it has been for me whilst I've been watching this TV series because I desperately need to find out more. But what I love especially about Chicago Fire is its consistency. The writing is always really strong. I will admit there is one episode out of what, the 120 episodes I've watched so far. I've had one episode where I've been a bit funny about it. I think that says something. I think that really does for a long-running programme. I've only got one episode where I feel a bit negative towards it. Because it was a bit formulaic, and I didn't like, because it was the episodes to pilot basically Chicago Med, and it was really a bit ridiculous, and it was like, let's just throw everything under the sun at this situation with a guy blowing himself up in the lobby of the hospital with an infectious disease. He said he had this disease that was worse than any other disease in the world before he blew himself up, and also have the hospital on fire at the exact same time. It was just a bit like, what are you doing? You're just going to destroy the hospital. So of course that meant that they got to have a revamp of the hospital, and the newly constructed hospital is the one that you see being opened in the very opening sequence of Chicago Med, which then leads through with that series. So it was just kind of an excuse, I think, to blow up the set that they've been using for like 4 years at that point for all hospital sequences in Chicago Fire. Oh, I found that really, really funny. Anyway, yeah. So it feels like a drug when you reach this point, or at least it does for me, of fangirling. You go through, like I said, I kind of touched on the previous point, but I'm going to talk about it more now. You feel every possible emotion when you're really heart and soul into it. You connect to certain characters. So for me, it's Kelly Severide because I absolutely adore him. You get frazzled and frustrated when they have barriers in their way. As I said, I have screamed at TV. I have sent loads of messages, because I love to send messages to my sister and our friend Sarah. Hey girls, by the way, you're probably watching this, and Sarah's been saying, this is so hysterical, the messages that I've been sending them, because I've been practically what I've been screaming at my TV and that, and thinking and all that, in my house, I've been blurging all over Facebook Messenger to them. And yeah, it's so because of how hysterical I've been, and me going on about Severide, Sarah is now watching Chicago Fire, so I've got someone to experience what I'm feeling. And yeah, I need to have a catch up to find out where she is for that anyway. But yeah, she likes the intensity of it and such. So yay! I'm glad I've got someone who I can speak to about it. And as I said, look, clapping, yay! I'm fangirling right now. Yeah, so you have the positives, as I said, of really feeling everything, of going through the motions with the characters, but then the knock-on effect is that you feel everything. Last night I felt drained, like seriously drained by Series 5 episode 20, and to the degree I have got 2 episodes of Series 5 left, and then I'll start Series 6, which I know is the last season that I've got available on box sets, and I'm like, I am desperate to watch, but then at the same time I don't want to, in a way, because I know Kelly is going to be so distraught this next episode. He's going to kill me. He's going to absolutely kill me. And I also, the thought of me only having one more season left to watch is really hard. It's really hard. I think I'm going to have to go back and rewatch them all. I really want to get hold of the box sets. I think that's probably the next stage for me to go out and buy. But I think I'm going to hold off until Series 7 comes out, because there's no point me, buying the Series 1 to 6 box set and then have to make a purchase for Series 7 in the next month. So yeah, so I think I'm going to hold off until the end of September and buy the box sets. But so where did I get to? So yeah, so you've had the finding out about the introduction, basically. Then we've had the binge watch, we've had the squealing stage, or amplified emotion, as I also like to refer to it. Then you have stage 4. And stage 4, I haven't got to yet, because with me, I will do this stage after I have completely finished watching either everything of what is available at the moment. So for Chicago Fire, it's at the end of Series 6, or once I've reached the end of the entirety of the show. Like when I watched Once Upon a Time, I happened to be watching it from the very beginning, right as the latter half of the very final series was airing on TV. So by the time I got round to watching the very last series, it had already finished in showing in America. So I was able to go through from pilot to the very, very last episode of Series 7 in one go. And so, as I said, so either go from very beginning to the very end, or from the very beginning to the end of what is available at that point. And then I would do stage 4. And stage 4 is research. Fangirls know that there are certain websites, certain forums, certain things that you will hit if you love something, and it's not necessarily these various websites or forums or whatever. It's not necessarily TV and film related. I mean books as well, and usually there's like wiki fandom pages for anything under the sun that you really like, and you research every little thing that you can think of to do with this subject. You watch every interview, you watch every blooper, every special feature that's available on a DVD. You will research about locations, you will research about special episodes, watch award ceremony nominations and acceptance speeches. You all want to know everything about the lives of every single actor who is available. You research the hell out of everything, and there is a really positive impact to that, but there's also a real negative. Now the positive is that there are so many people out there who love anything. So you can easily find fan groups and discussion boards and talk to various fans about various things. Yay. But the negative side is that sometimes there's a bit of a backlash for it. So, for example, say me, because I'm a new person introduced to Chicago Fire, I could put on like a Facebook group or a forum or something like that, asking questions or giving a thought about a certain character and discussing my reasons why I feel XYZ, and then having someone reply who basically rips me apart, because at the point of the series where I'm at, I don't know what's subsequently happened, so therefore what I'm saying isn't valid. Or there's been so many times in Harry Potter fan groups and everything where people who are fans of the films have talked about various characters and asked various questions, and people who know the books and the films feel that they have superior knowledge because they have read the books and put that person down. So you have a great support system in regards to all of these other people in fandom and everything, but then at the same time you can get caught in a backlash from it, and it's really upsetting when that happens. It's really, really bad. But yeah, you will research everything under the sun, and sometimes it's really lovely that, especially that you could write a comment about a video or whatever, throwing in a fact, and you know, somebody who could read it and respond either really negatively, like I said, putting you down about it and go, oh, well, we already knew that. We knew that 2 years ago or whatever. Or, you know, like me, like even if somebody's commented something on like a Facebook group or whatever to Harry Potter or Tolkien or whatever, and I already knew that, I either, you know, like it or I reply going, oh, that's really interesting. So, you know, be positive. I try to be positive as much as possible, because then that makes that other fangirl, you know, just feel happy and that they've been heard. And that's what I try to do as a fangirl, is try and support fellow fangirls and everything as much as possible. Through, you know, various comments and such. And I hope this video also gives support to fangirls of how what it's like. But then we move on to stage 5, and stage 5, it's one of I was going to say it's one of the hardest, but I think it's actually one of the most confusing stages, and that's shipping. Now, shipping and canon are two phrases that if you're in a fandom, you will know. You have to learn the terminology and everything. If you're not, then you'll have absolutely no idea what the heck I'm talking about. So shipping is basically where you take two characters that you think would work together. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a sexual relationship. It doesn't have to be opposite sex. It can be any pairing for any possible reason. So, for example, I really like to ship, let's say, Ron and Hermione in Harry Potter, because I love them together. I think they're wonderful together. But there are a lot of people who in the fandom who also ship Hermione and Draco. There are people in fandoms who ship Hermione and Snape. There are people in fandom who ship Ron and Harry. You know, there's all of these various different combinations, and you do have a positive, just as with, you know, various stages, you have the positive and the negative impact on this. You have the positives, that there's always every possible combination under the sun. There is going to be a set of people, your people, as it were, that you can contact, that you can talk about, that you can feel totally open, even though it might be a combination that other people wouldn't like. You know that there's somebody there to hear you and who agrees with you. So that is really nice. But then at the same time, you have the negative impact that the ships can turn on each other, and there's always been this massive issue in the Harry Potter fandom of Hermione and Draco versus Hermione and I think it's Harry, or just Hermione and Ron, or just in general what is written versus what they would like. I have absolutely, as a fangirl, I have no problem with any possible combination. If you like it, you like it. I have no issue. But there are some out there that really put down people, different shippers, because of the combinations that they really like. They I've seen posts where they've said that their points aren't valid, that they're insane, that they don't know what they're talking about, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, stop with the negativity. We're all here because we love something, so don't put other people down for what they like. That's my position. So shipping is where you like various characters being together, as I said, not necessarily a sexual relationship, just pairing them up, and it could be any possible combination. But sometimes it can be a sexual relationship, and yeah, it doesn't have to be of the same sex, and it could be of people who don't define their sex or gender. It could be whatever combination. Canon means basically that it is either been in a book, it is stated specifically in a book, or it in a TV show or a film or whatever, it is something that we have seen happen. So therefore it has happened. So back to the Harry Potter ones, Ron and Hermione are canon, and Ginny and Harry are canon because they are relationships which J.K. Rowling wrote about in the books. They are married in the books, you know, the various couples. It has happened. That is what it is. There cannot be any break, as it were, from it. But then you have people who want a Hermione and Harry together, or Hermione and Draco together, which is a ship. So canon is specifically written, whereas a ship is what, you know, you'd like to see. So there are people who are, like, say for example, are in the Hermione and Ron canon, you know, ship group, as it were, who think really negatively about the Hermione Draco ship group because it's not canon. That's the kind of thing where you have the positivity that you're always going to find people who feel the same way you do about your ship, but then at the same time you've got the negativity because there tends to be that if it's not canon, that it's going to be something that's going to be looked down on. So with, you know, the various relationships and everything in Chicago Fire, I really like Casey and Gabby, but I'm really concerned with their relationship, especially this series 5. The writers are gone, and I wrote this to Sarah. I said, you know, I think the writers this series are literally sat in the room and gone, should we let anyone be happy? No. Should we let even the, you know, the slightest light in their life be around for long? No. You know, it really feels like that. So I have this really horrible feeling that something could happen between Casey and Gabby. As I said, at the moment, Severide he's in the darkest pit of hell that he could ever imagine, and I'm like, I am feeling it in my heart and my soul. Was hysterically crying last night. I went through the ringer with 520, so I'm really, really not looking forward to 521. It's gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt. And so yeah, I'm just feeling funny. So we've got the introduction, the binge watch, the, you know, squealing, crying, clapping kind of stage, researching everything, and shipping. So that's 5 of the 7 stages. Then stage 6, it's the cosplay stage. I don't know why I just did that, but I did. The cosplay fanfiction stage is what I like to call it, because with cosplay is costume playing. So you dress up as the character, and you know, like people go to Comic-Con and dress up as character and be them, as it were, as they go around. And some cosplay people who do that have the most amazing outfits. Oh my god, they spend so much money on it, and it's so amazing. It doesn't necessarily just have to be at conventions. There are so many photo shoots and videos that people have made that are available all around the internet, all over Tumblr and everything, and they are amazing. I personally don't cosplay. I never had the opportunity to myself, and I don't know who on earth I would dress as, if I'm honest. So yeah, I so I totally love and admire anyone who does cosplaying. I think it's amazing. It's very, very popular in America, but it is becoming more and more popular here as well. And you know what I've noticed is that cosplaying has become more and more popular along with Halloween here, like in America, where even the adults dress up and everything. So I don't know, maybe it's linked. I don't know. But yeah, so you do cosplay, go to conventions, that kind of thing. Or you do like what I do, because I don't do cosplay. I then start surfing through fan fiction. I've written fan fiction before. There is a really good website called fanfiction.net that you can have a look at, and that covers every possible film, TV show, book under the sun, and you can even make categories, book various filters and everything, so that you've got the category there, you've got a link, and you can publish whatever you want and everything. You get feedback, you get you know, ratings, people favourite you. It's a really, really good website, actually. And you start reading fan fiction. You can also start writing fan fiction. The thing with fan fiction is really good because you can basically do whatever you want. The players, the characters, the locations as such are still the same, but you get to play in the world and have them do whatever you want them to do. So you can have like alternate universe situations, sci-fi situations. You could even like put like the Firehouse 51 characters on like the moon or something. Whatever you want goes. And I like I said, I've written fan fiction before years and years ago. I haven't written any, God, the longest. I must have been probably about mid to late 20s, I think, the last time I wrote one. But yeah, so I haven't written one in the longest time. Maybe I'll write something about Severide now that I have fallen so hard for him. I don't know, maybe we'll just see what happens. But yeah, you start going through fan fiction and reading what other fans like to think about, the various situations that they put them in, various emotions. And these aren't just, what, in a way, they are amateur writers because anyone can write this stuff. But at the same time, they're really not. Some of them are really fabulous, and like Cassandra Clare, who wrote the various Mortal Instruments books and that, who myself and my sister really like. She started off on fanfiction.net. Yes, she got in trouble on fanfiction.net, but that was the start of her career that's led on to this incredible book series that she's written, and she's on like a 11th book or something like that now. So yeah, so it's not a bad thing, is fanfiction.net. You do see some weird and wonderful stuff, and as I said, some of it isn't that great, isn't that well written, but there are some absolute gems out there. So I'd say give it a go. And then the final stage 7, is that you remain a fan. Now that sounds probably a bit odd, because you think, well, that's kind of obvious, isn't it, that you remain a fan if you've gone through that much? Not necessarily, because you can go through these various stages and then they do a series and it just suddenly doesn't work for you. Look at Game of Thrones, the reaction to Game of Thrones. The fandom went absolutely bonkers about that. I'm not saying that was a good or a bad thing that they went bonkers, because I'm not part of that fandom, so I'm not going to diss that fandom for that. But there was so much negativity about how badly it was written, how badly put together, how rushed some elements were, how you spent Daenerys's end, especially how you spent 7 series building up this amazing character and then just completely throw her under the bus for the final series. There was so you could have a situation where they bring out a series of your favourite show, or the show that you've come to love, and then suddenly it's over, it's ruined for you, and you won't necessarily stay as a fan. But there are shows like that where they stay with you and you stay a fan. Like for me, there's Doctor Who, there's ER, there's One Tree Hill, there's things like Poirot, and various other TV series, Miss Marple, which I love, where Supernatural, that was, I couldn't, for some reason Supernatural just kind of like stretched away from me and I couldn't think what the word was. Supernatural, I love that show. I am gutted, absolutely gutted, that it's coming to an end after its 15th season. I mean, really, what is so especially annoying is that series 14 hasn't even aired here in the UK yet, so I have to wait until late this year to then watch series 14. And with that, because series 14 ended quite a while ago in America, I subscribe to various reaction channels on YouTube, and they love Supernatural, so I'm constantly getting, oh, see the new Supernatural episode. I'm like, I don't want to know. I have had to do that for so long, and soon I will be able to see series 14, but I'm just like, I'm going to hear about the series 15 finale, I know, when it airs, and I'll have to wait ages for it to then air in the UK, and it's going to be so hard, and it's going to stay with me. These characters, these shows stay with you, and that is what makes you a fan forever. And that is the final stage of fangirling. You understand every reference. You, as soon as you hear someone talking about it, like in your office, your ears prick up. You look, you want to like binge talk about it. You feel everything, your heart, your soul, and they are always there to give you comfort in the worst times. You can depend on them. They won't let you down. And yeah, they are just absolutely amazing. And that's how I'm going to end. So there we go. The 7 stages of fandom. So the introduction, the binge watch, the squealing, clapping, crying, triple, triangle, should I say? Circle. Maybe circle's better because you're constantly going round each time. You research everything. You do your shipping, your cosplay, and fan fiction, and then finally you're a fan for life. So those are the 7 stages. As I said, I am still in the binge watch stage of Chicago Fire, but soon, I'm going to come to the end of it because I've only got 1 series left to watch, and the last 2 episodes of series 5 to watch, and then it's over. I'm just so sad. But I'll be able to get my sleep pattern back to normal, get rid of these bags under my eyes once it's done. And then we're just going to see what season 7 brings. I'm so glad they're going to be back for season 8. And yeah, I'm really excited. I love all the different characters: Herman, Otis, Cruz, Casey, Gabby, Brett, Bowden, and Severide, and Kid, and all the various other characters who come before them, like Shay, and even Jimmy, even though his story ended with him being quite a prick because of the loss of his brother. You know, his final scene, it was satisfying. So yeah, I can't be angry at him. But everyone, I just love them. I love them so much. They're like friends to me now. They live in my soul. They're there with, the supernatural and Doctor Who and all sorts, who will always stay with me. And Harry Potter's obviously, and they're part of what makes me who I am, and I love them for giving me that. And knowing that I've always got them when I need them, and yeah, means a lot. So there we go, my 7 stages of being a fangirl and how I'm feeling about Chicago Fire. I don't know, I might do an update on how I'm feeling about Chicago Fire after I finish season 6. I'll give more of an overview of the way that it's constructed and written, all that lol. But I would totally recommend Chicago Fire. As I said, there's some crossover episodes which are a bit annoying, but it's just what it is. And yeah, it's all good. And I suppose I better turn on my TV and start watching. And yeah, so what do you think about fangirling? I'd love to know what you think. Comment in the comments box below. Give me thumbs up, thumbs down, entirely up to you. I'll let you decide. And I'll be back with my review of The Hate U Give, probably most likely in the next couple of days. And yeah, I'll let you know how it felt about Thug. Alright guys, bye.